everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you all had a lovely bank holiday weekend. For those of you that are celebrating Passover, for those of you obviously celebrating Easter, for those of us that don't celebrate anything and just use it as an excuse to have some time with family, with friends, eat lots of chocolate, potentially drink lots of alcohol to wash down the chocolate. So I hope you all had a lovely time. I have a love-hate relationship with chocolate, as in I love it, it hates my body. All jokes aside, I'm hit and miss with it. I can go weeks without so much as a piece of chocolate. I know some of you are like, what? That's crazy. Yeah, honestly, I can honestly take it or leave it. But in the same breath, it can also be a certain day, a certain time of the month, a certain stressful situation. And I can sink a family-sized Cadbury's caramel bar under 3 minutes. And that's no joke. As for the dogs, many of you ask about the dogs. They're fine. They are creatures of chaos. That's what they're here on this earth to do. I love them. They create chaos in mine and my husband's life. So nothing really to report. They're both happy, both healthy. She has had her vet checks recently and her bloods and urine are normal. So we are managing the leishmaniasis perfectly. And other than that, yeah, as I said, creators of total chaos in this house. We all need things to keep us on our toes, and our dogs, for me and my husband, are it. So before we get on to the royal family and Easter, let's talk about the fact that Prince William and Prince George were mini-me's of each other. Well, Prince George was a mini-me of Prince William. It was really cute. They went to watch an Aston Villa game. It was Aston Villa versus Nottingham Forest, and not to be mistaken with Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. And yeah, they were so animated together. Prince William, very animated, but Prince George, not even looking at his father, was just a copy of him. And it just made for some really, really cute pictures. It's funny that they're so in sync because we often see photographs and even video clips of Catherine and William being totally in sync with each other. The family are actually very expressive, and it just leads to make some adorable photographs. So let's get on to the photographs that were taken on Easter Sunday when the royal family made their appearance, led by the King and Queen, at St George's Chapel in Windsor. I always talk about that my favourite royal photographer is Chris Jackson, who has taken some of the best photographs ever. But I'm having a close second now. We've got Samir Hussein, who managed to capture some wonderful photographs, especially of Princess Catherine and Princess Charlotte interacting together. So as they walked up to the church, as I said, we had the King and Queen, Camilla, wearing a beautiful, I think it's cobalt blue or royal blue, absolutely stunning colour outfit, which as you can see was also copied by Catherine. So much for Meghan's, you can never wear the same colour as the Queen. Well, perhaps maybe Queen Camilla has a different set of rules. But as you can see, there are two distinct groups of the family walking in. In the first group, you had Queen Camilla and King Charles, followed by the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, with her brother, Prince Andrew. Now, I know some people get really upset about seeing Andrew, but this is a family service. It's their first service as well without the Queen and Charles as his new position as head of church. I do not have a problem with seeing Andrew going to church services with his family. Would I have a problem seeing Andrew on the balcony? Yes, because that's a different kettle of fish, isn't it? So with them were also the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, Sophie and Prince Edward, and they were also with their son James, who now holds the title Earl of Wessex, since Prince Edward has now become the Duke of Edinburgh after his late father. Lady Louise, however, didn't appear from the photographs that I've seen to attend this particular service. Sophie was standing out with this crowd because in the sea of blue suits and blue ties, Sophie was wearing a pink coat. Now with the second group that were coming along, led by a lady in pink, we had Zara Tindall with her husband Mike and their girls Lena and Mia. I love the fact that Zara is not afraid to push the boundaries of colours. She's often seen an incredibly bright and flowery, stand out of the crowd sort of outfits, and she always looks lovely. Now in a softer pink, so I'm guessing blue and pink and white might have been the shades for the family because they all like to coordinate, we have Princess Beatrice. As most of you know, she's one of my favourites, with her husband Edo. Obviously their daughter Sienna is too young, much like Zara Tindall and Mike Tindall's youngest son Lucas. Now with that same bundle, that's when you had the Wales family, obviously Princess of Wales, Prince William, George, Charlotte, and for the first time at Easter service we had a rather handsome looking Prince Louis, who was very well behaved, who gave a cheeky grin over to the photographers, who were no doubt bellowing stuff, trying to get him to do something cheeky. I feel sorry for Prince Louis because I think there is an awful lot of pressure on him already from grown women right, from grown women that are on talk shows, one of them being The View in America that pushed my buttons over the weekend, talking about, oh, Prince Louis is going to be so badly behaved because of his previous behaviour, like he's some sort of criminal reprobate. He was 4 years old at the Queen's Jubilee. Can you imagine how boring it must be being that age and stuck there? Plus, the fact that how many people out there would have cameras on their children all the time and come across as perfect parents? I know for a fact that when I used to play up, my mum used to give me a little boot under the table or the death stare. My mother can still do this to me now. She can stop me in my tracks with a single look. Now, the thing is, Catherine obviously is also on camera, and there's certain things that you can and can't do. Louis was playing up, but the family intervened. Prince Charles had him on his lap. He was just bored, and the children were all handing out sweets. And I can't believe I'm even saying this in a video. He's a 4-year-old little boy. Back off him, find something else on The View to talk about, rather than discussing the fact that, oh, Prince Louis is going to behave terribly. It's absolutely disgraceful, the number of grown adults that use a child. Obviously, it's a way for them to attack Princess Catherine and Prince William, their parenting skills. But I think the way their children behave at a lot of engagements actually behave a lot better than some adults, and you know who I mean. Now, Catherine has caused a little bit of a hoo-ha all by herself because, I have to say it, she was a harlot. She was a brazen hussy. She wore red nail polish. Apparently, she brought shame on the entire family because she dared to wear something not neutral. Now, the reason why the Queen reportedly didn't like nails, because she didn't want the royal ladies turning up to engagements and wearing chip polish. It's also a generational thing. Some people would have said red nails or red lipstick might have belonged to ladies of the night years ago. The thing is, as much as it breaks my heart, the Queen is no longer here. So the fact that Charles and Camilla are the next generation, I'm sure that rules in certain situations have been softened. Now, the reason why people are all kicking up over this is because of Meghan Markle turning up to the British Fashion Awards wearing black nail polish. The very big difference here is, like I said, as much as it really does still upset me saying it, the Queen is no longer here. The Queen was very much alive, and like any office you work in has rules about uniforms, school uniforms, all sorts of things, and, you know, rules you have to follow. One of them, when Meghan was part of that family, bearing in mind she was very new to that family, where you think you'd still be wanting to make an impression on your in-laws, she knew that it wasn't particularly well liked. But then saying that, and I will defend Meghan here, she rocked up British Fashion Awards all by herself. That wasn't an official royal engagement. She rocked up there unannounced to surprise them. Meghan using her title, the fact that she was privileged to be part of the royal family, to turn up. Can you imagine any other person doing this and saying, oh, hi, just turned up, I'm going to go on stage and hand out one of your awards. How do you like that? Sure, come in. Anyone else would have been laughed at, which I'm sure Meghan probably would be laughed at now if she tried the same stunt. But back to the two family groups that you could see. You had obviously, you know, the older generation, the brothers, you know, Charles with Edward, with Andrew, the family unit there. But then you had the younger generation together in theirs. And then trailing behind, you had Jack and Eugenie. Now, this might be, people keep reading into Princess Eugenie. I don't know. I'm still giving her the benefit of the doubt. And that is, you know, she's heavily pregnant. She's walking in heels, as all the royal ladies managed to do somehow. And they're just tottering along behind. But people, obviously, body language experts are going in saying, oh, there's trouble in the ranks. But I'm not sure at this point. At the end of the day, Eugenie loves her father, Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew needs to stay on the right side of Charles. If Eugenie is going to cause problems in the ranks, that will then reflect on her father, and so on and so forth. Family politics, we've all got them. It's just that they have to live theirs on a worldwide stage. Now, as I was saying, there's been lots of unfair attacks from grown women and all sorts of people discussing Prince Louis's behaviour. Now, despite the fact that Prince Louis was 4 years old at the Jubilee, I don't think it's that prince's behaviour at the coronation, if he does come, that anyone should be worried about. Now, we are still having the to and fro. Are they coming? Are they not coming? This alone shows you the level of maturity that Harry still has towards his family, the fact that he can't even have the decency to RSVP to such a huge event, which is going to be a logistical security nightmare. All of the people coming from all over the world, you've got dignitaries, you've got other members of royal families. So the fact that Harry's still going, I'm not sure if I'm going to come yet, I think, as I've said, just shut the drawbridge. Too late, you're done. Now, the Times has reported that Harry has to give a minimum of 28 days before he's coming back into the country due to the logistical psychological nightmare of him not having the same level of security he did when he was a full-time royal. The fact that Harry has refused to do this shows you yet again, Harry doesn't really care about the court case. This court case is to stick his fingers up because he was told no. Harry is in a constant state of a 4-year-old's temper tantrum. And much like many of the events that we've seen Harry come over to the UK for in the last couple of years since he decided to leave, I don't trust that he is going to behave well if he does come to the coronation. First of all, I saw a photograph, right? This one will shock some of you because it shocked me. I only saw this yesterday and I couldn't believe it. This photograph I've never seen before. Now, this is literally their walkabout. This was when the Queen had died and they were at Windsor and Catherine and William were left waiting for an hour to go out and meet the public and get flowers handed over and to people to give their condolences and thanks. Now, Harry talks a lot about triggers, okay? I'll go back to the photo in a second, but Harry talks a lot about triggers. If he was going to be triggered at any point in his life, it would be this moment, because it would have been exactly like when his mother died, all of the flowers, all of the people come in, having to go around and say thank you to people whilst grieving. Look at this photograph. Look at their faces. Whilst Catherine and William at the beginning, Meghan was acting all coy and she was doing deliberate poses like she was scared of Catherine. Mark my words, that was purely done for optics because Meghan was bullied by the royal family. Because I tell you what, this is the same Meghan the moment that she is away from Catherine and William, the moment that she doesn't realise that she has the camera quite in her face. It, to me, gave me chills. It showed me the absolute coldness from both of them, given the somber and tragically upsetting day it was. You saw more emotion from strangers who were upset at the death of the Queen than you did these two. They look ecstatic. And it made me feel really uncomfortable. So I thought I'd share that, and then it also gave me the idea for this video. All of the times that Harry and Meghan cannot be trusted. So I do not understand why anyone would think that they should be trusted coming to such a historical moment as the coronation. It is not a family affair. It is a very much a public affair for our country, and then obviously all of the Commonwealth and the other countries that still have ties to the United Kingdom. And I just don't trust them. So I decided to call this video Trust is Broken because some of you that haven't followed this story for the same number of years, I thought that I would give some reminders of why I truly think that Harry and Meghan cannot be trusted. The fact that we've still got so many stories that are coming over still from Montecito, from America, talking like little cheap shots still at the royal family. The fact that Harry recently came over for his surprise appearance at the Royal Courts of Justice over his court case, and he chose that moment to still attack his family because it's very clear they have no intention of stopping their attacks anytime soon. If anything, by them coming, they're just going to go back and have more cannon fodder. The fact is, when Harry and Meghan were part of the royal family, well, as we know now, they were plotting and planning Netflix behind everyone's back. They, in royal residences, in the Queen's private residences, took a photographer. And they used that footage to be used in Netflix, which, as we now know, they had been sitting on and planning since the wedding, if not a little bit before the wedding, as many of us believe. And it was to launch an attack on the royal family to make them out to be victims. And they didn't care who they hurt and who they betrayed. Another person I believe that they betrayed was Princess Beatrice. They had said that they wanted to go to the Queen's, it's a miniature tea house, a dollhouse. Notice that Princess Beatrice was not there, but a photographer, which the footage then found its way to Netflix, was. The Queen had handed the playhouse over to Princess Beatrice, and Harry and Meghan had asked if they could go there. Again, this is something that they have used for footage, which they later used to attack the royal family. I believe there is a very good reason why Harry and Meghan last minute did not move into Kensington Palace next to Prince William and to Catherine, Princess of Wales, because they could not be trusted at this point. They were reportedly the hovel that was Nottingham Cottage that they were forced to live in. There were reports at the time that they were beginning to upset neighbours with their loud parties and friends that they were inviting over, fireworks going off all hours of the night. So you can only imagine, if they had the keys to Kensington Palace, what Meghan and some of her friends would have been up to. As it is, I believe the rumours that Meghan had been taking photographs of places and of people that she should not have been, further backed up, like I said, when they snuck a photographer into the Queen's private residences. Trust was broken yet again when the Queen gave them her Commonwealth trust roles. roles. She, in fact, invented the vice president role for Meghan. The Queen loves her Commonwealth, and then she obviously had the Commonwealth Trust, and she trusted these two to honour it. What did they do with it? Harry and Meghan decided to try and cling on to that when they went to Montecito. They did a couple of Zoom calls where they ignited racism, said it was all built on slavery, and then, of course, Netflix, the Empire 2.0. The Queen trusted them with something that was very close to her heart, and they betrayed her and all of the Commonwealth countries, who a lot of them are also not happy at all of the stirring that Harry and Meghan have done. Trust yet again was broken with Megxit. With the terms of the Sandringham summit, the Queen had said that yes, okay, you can go. You can't have this, you can't do that, despite Harry and Meghan's demands that they had made and the insistence that they can be royal. The word royal is not owned by the Queen, but they also said that they would uphold the values of the Queen and the monarchy. They did not. The moment that they got over to Canada, they started signing all sorts of shady deals. I mean, Meghan launching coffee. All of the things that they've got involved in, do not be fooled. They didn't get that because they are Harry Windsor or Harry Mountbatten Windsor and Meghan Markle. They got that because of the Duke and Duchess titles and their links to the royal family. They didn't uphold anything other than their interest in their own bank balance. Another time trust was broken to not just Prince William, but also King Charles. And that's when Charles had begged his two sons to stop fighting. This was at Prince Philip's funeral. His father had just been buried, and Harry decided to take that private conversation and to sell it, much like he did the conversation where Prince William begged him to reconsider leaving the royal family, and he begged him to stop listening basically to Meghan, to listen to other people, that he loved him. Now, for those of you, I read it in the book, I've heard it, and the bit where there is Prince William literally saying, "Harold, please, I love you," it pulled at my heartstrings at that point. But the fact that Harry was saying it like it was a terrible thing his brother did, and it just goes to show the depths of which Harry is willing to sell absolutely everyone down the river, but sue anyone that he feels has encroached on his and Meghan's privacy. The worldwide privacy tour. South Park hit the nail on the head. More times that Harry and Meghan have broken the royal family's trust. I believe, like many others, Meghan, she did turn up to the Queen's Jubilee. She did look like Wallace Simpson. The outfit was very similar, but also like Inspector Gadget. There were lots of rumours that they were twiddling with microphones. Meghan's big collar was to hide one, but you also saw Harry fiddling in the church with a little microphone. We also saw this at the Queen's funeral. We saw Harry with what looked like a microphone. Now, many people have said they've seen like shapes and things under Meghan's dresses. It could just be dodgy underwear and clothing lines, and I'm not sure if I actually believe those ones, but the ones where you can literally see a microphone round about the same sort of height that you would pinned on Harry's clothes, it does make it very questionable. And the fact that Harry can relay conversations in so much detail when he's given interviews and in his book, it does make you wonder, is this why William and Charles have said that they will not be alone with Harry? They will not have private conversations with him anymore. They need other people in the room. Much like when the Queen said at the Sandringham summit, Meghan couldn't join it. They didn't stop Meghan coming to the Sandringham summit. If she'd have been in the country, she could have gone to it. What they were stopping, however, was Meghan joining them on a Zoom call, because they had no way to know if Meghan would be recording it or if other people were in the room listening to it alongside Meghan. Again, would you have trusted Meghan to do that, given everything that they've done since and before? No, the Queen was very right to say it was too much of a security risk. Harry and Meghan were trusted to come to the Queen's Jubilee and keep their heads down low. So what did they do? They turned up late to St Paul's Cathedral. They did this so that they could get the walk down the aisle themselves. This then messed up the order of which they were meant to be seated. Harry and Meghan caused a scene because Harry didn't want to be seated where he was, and then sat there like a petulant child, glaring at his brother, knowing full well that all of the cameras were on him, much like when they left, bearing in mind they had chosen to leave the royal family at that final Commonwealth Church engagement, and Harry sat there again like a poisonous child, having a tantrum, glaring at his brother, glaring at his father. Harry, despite being 38 years old, behaves like an awful Kevin the teenager. It's embarrassing for a grown man and a father of two to still be pulling facial expressions like this, especially in full public view. But to behave like that, to be so petulant, whilst knowing that the world's cameras and eyes and public are watching you, that to me shows a level that he's just so in his own bubble, so entitled. It's truly shocking that anyone could think that he can be trusted to behave. Even more recently, the fact that the King and Queen were going on a state visit to France, which was cancelled, but then to Germany. You know, this was a huge event, the first for the King. Harry turns up for this court case, which he didn't need to be at. He came over to do a surprise. Hot on the heels of Prince William obviously doing his visit over to Poland and visiting troops, Harry comes over to steal some headlines. Obviously, it backfired on him because no one cared, and then the fact that the Queen and King's trip to France had been cancelled. But Harry, not quite satisfied with that causing enough drama as it was and his face not being plastered on the front pages of newspapers, he then decided in his witness statement, which bearing in mind is against a newspaper for phone hacking, to use that time to attack his family. Again, this was 14 days ago, well, 13 days, 14 days tomorrow, that Harry said in a statement, my family hid everything from me. They did this. They betrayed me. So again, if anyone thinks that Harry is done with targeting and attacking his family, I don't know what else to say to you to convince you, really. You're the sort of person that I guess would have a chocolate fire guard. Given the way that Harry has behaved when he was at the Commonwealth Service, like I said, at the Queen's Jubilee, where he was sitting there glaring at his brother, glaring at his father. What about when he was actually at the Queen's funeral, where he refused to sing God Save the King? Do you not think that Harry will do something similar at the coronation, or probably even be more petty because of his evil stepmother, and he will refuse to sing God Save the Queen? Harry is not shy of throwing temper tantrums on camera in front of a worldwide audience. Harry cannot be trusted to then throw a tantrum when he gets into the coronation and he's not sitting where he wants to be seated. What about when Prince William has a prominent role in the coronation? Do you think that Harry can control his emotions and his facial expressions to not sit there and look like a child that's just been told off? So this is what makes me laugh the most. For everyone that's been concerned about the behaviour and the previous antics of a 5-year-old prince, they should be more concerned with the previous antics and behaviours of a 38-year-old prince who has shown time and time again, even with cameras worldwide on him and the public viewing, in a very, very historical event, he cannot behave himself either. Personally, I'd rather take my chances of Prince Louis setting an example compared to Prince Harry. So on that note, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I will be back with you soon and chat to you in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you soon. Bye.